How is the team looking?
Coming together. It's good to see the nagging injuries are about to be a thing of the past, so that helps where we can have our full complement of guys out there. So that's been good.
Where's CJ at this point?
He's been good. He's fine. Yeah, he's ready to go. Seems to be 100%.
Shawn?
Shawn is getting his strength back each day from sitting out. So he's coming back.
Is he cleared to practice?
Yeah, he's been practicing. Yeah, he's been practicing.
Who are the guys who have some degree of limitations on him now, or will have between now and Seattle game?
Quinn, Sterling. That's it.
Wilcox good to go.
He's 100%.
Coach, can you talk about just the benefits of the extra 2 weeks now? And are you really starting to see that as you're heading up into your first game?
I think so. I think we've done a decent job of not using those 2 extra weeks to just kill our guys. You know, the tendency could just be now we're really going to be in shape, and then there's potential for burnout. I don't think we've done that. And at the same time, we've done a lot of teaching. We've slowed down the pace. I think it's been okay for us. I like it.
How then have you used those, like that time? Like, have you practiced 4 days and then off, or just sort of?
We've taken a couple of Pac-12 Media Day forced us to take a day off. We scheduled a day off. We've had several practices where, as opposed to 2.5, we go 2.5 every day, usually until December, mid-December. This year we've not done that. We've had practices where we've gone hour 15 minutes, hour 40 minutes, here and there. The first couple weeks were just 2-hour practices. So we've kind of eliminated wear and tear that way also.
How's that changed the way you plan out your practice, especially this early season, what you're accomplishing in an hour, hour and a half versus 2 or 2.5?
Well, it's easy to say, man, if we don't go 2.5 hours, there's some things we're not going to be able to get to. Well, if you didn't have the additional 2 weeks, you weren't going to get to them anyway. So you just kind of prioritize and have a little mini doses of a lot of different areas. So you just keep hitting different areas. You run a little zone, you run a little man-to-man, you run a little press, you break down things, you run fast break, work on your out-of-bounds play. Just hit them just with some consistency.
Can you talk a little bit about with Paris Blackwell practicing? He's been with you for a year, but now he can play. How much different is Paris, and how much different has it made having a guy like Robert Upshaw, even though he can't play, to bang against Paris and Shawn?
I think they help each other, because every day, if one of them doesn't bring it, the other one is going to abuse them on the basketball floor. If Paris doesn't bring it, Robert is going to have his way, and if Robert doesn't bring it, Paris is going to have his way. So they know they both have to challenge each other each day. Paris makes so much of a difference, and so does Robert. Both of them usually are on separate teams, and both of them are great finishers and very aggressive offensively, and they command the respect of the defense. They're good passers, so they definitely help your team.
Between the end of the year last year and today, who's made significant progress in their skills, getting better?
Skills, you said skills.
Or just becoming a better basketball player?
I think Jannard Giroux has improved his skill set. He'll be the main one that sticks out to me.
Are you any closer to?
I think CJ's improved.
What's Jannard gotten better at?
Finishing. Plays that he would make and get to the goal line, but didn't quite get over the goal line. Now he's getting over the goal line.
Is that strength?
I think it's a little bit of strength, but I think it's also a little bit of know-how. He's just gotten better, more reps, maturity.
And you mentioned CJ. How did CJ get better?
CJ is so versatile. He's bringing the ball in transition. He's making plays like a point guard would. He's taking the ball to the basket. He's obviously shooting the basketball. He reads screens so well. He's playing like a veteran. Really understands what's going on.
I know it's a little early, but what have you seen out of the freshmen in addition to Anderson as well? It's been a little early. What have you seen out of them so far?
Jamel Taylor is very aggressive and can really shoot the basketball. And Nigel Williams-Goss is just just uncanny, his ability to run a team and to do things right.
Have you ever seen that out of a freshman point guard that
No.
you can remember?
That played for us.
In general, that has played for you or that you've observed and can remember?
As a coach, head coach, or assistant, I've never coached one. Now, there's probably been some playing for other teams that I wasn't there to witness day in and day out in the preseason what they looked like. It's just as he has a special gift. I forgive me for repeating myself, but young people so often want to fight the system. They want to have their space. They want to do it their way so much, and you have to fight that battle all of the time. He has one agenda: to be the best and help his team be the best. That's his only agenda. And when he's out there playing, it's refreshing to see that. And I think what he has done is developed a belief amongst his teammates that they know he's going to go out there and put forth his best effort.
So you think maybe he has a little advanced for a freshman to recognize what's needed to succeed?
There's no question about it. There's a reason he was part of 2 championship teams and played big parts in those. Why he just hadn't lost very many games in his high school career. He's had a lot to do with that. He's played for some great coaches. He's played with some great players, but he has also done his part, and you can see why. Not flashy. Not flashy. Don't look for flash. Look for efficiency and production.
What is it that makes him so efficient at it? What does he do?
Well, it's just kind of the way he just make up his DNA. Whatever he does here, that's how he handles himself in the classroom, just on top of things. But again, I've said this before. When you watch, every now and then you have to tell certain players, hey, look over here. It's right here. Never, ever have I had to tell them. When you're teaching, when you're talking, it's as if he's saying, I don't want to miss this. Teach me. I don't want to miss this. Okay. In his mind, he's processing it. So, okay, that's what this means. Okay. He's gifted that way. Just you don't see very many people do that.
How has he grasped the defense? Because often freshmen really struggle on that end of things.
In terms of conceptually what we're supposed to be doing, he's grasped it. And he works hard. He's very vocal. He makes working hard cool. Some don't want to get after it because they're too cool. Cool to him is busting his tail and doing the right thing.
Do you see him, how he does things, affecting those around him? Just as far as playing together?
He is a freshman, so when a freshman comes in, most of the time they're behind, they're trying to figure it all out, they're kind of in a fall a little. In his case, I don't think he is perceived that way, but there's still kind of a wait and see. I just think he still has earned the respect of our returners when they look at this guy who works hard every drill, busts his tail every drill. He's trying to do the right thing the entire time. Hats off to him.
Team-wide, what's the learning process been like with the new hand-checking rules, and how do you teach that?
Well, thank goodness we've been able to have officials come in, because it was a shock to our team system. Not the system we run, but just shockwaves went through all the practice. Like, whoa, we can't do anything. If I look at him too long, is that a foul too? But that's how the game's going to be called. And it's, as we told our team, they're not going to say, call it that way for Washington and not everyone else. We better adjust. And I think our guys have done a pretty good job of adjusting to it, of not putting your hands on the offensive player so much when they have the basketball. But it was a shock at first, guys. You just saw but I didn't touch him. You keep saying it.
So how does that go? And it's early on, you're going to have to adjust too. As a coach, somebody constructs defense, coaches defense, teaches defense. see anything changing the way you do your job yet to accommodate
We
for
just
that?
have to pay more attention and not to the hand checking and not let them get away with it. And, you know, we've added some coaches to our staff this year, the officials. When they're in practice, they call something and we're constantly asking them to explain why they called it. Okay, explain why that was a foul. What was he doing? So our guys can see what they were doing. Because, you know, you've been doing something for so long, just typical, a guy changes directions, you may touch him here a little bit to slow him down where that wasn't a foul before. Now it is, you don't even realize you're doing it. Unless someone teaches it and points it out to you, you won't ever know. So we try to make sure they stop and they end up teaching. We asked the officials the other day, the Pac-12 officials that officiated our scrimmage. When it was over, we asked them to talk to our team and talk to them about where we could potentially get ourselves into trouble by the way we're defending and how we're setting screens. And they said, this is how we're going to call it, this is what's not going to be called, this is how you have to defend it. And I thought it was great, so we had some little extra teaching there.
Do you and your coaching colleagues think that this will be a natural early season? You're going to call everything, and maybe it'll even itself out after that and try to, correct the curve that we didn't.
We will see.
Are you hoping that?
Yeah, it would be good if it could just kind of settle down a little bit, because right now there's going to be a lot of calls. I want to see how many technicals are going to be called.
Well, you've already set the precedent getting one in an exhibition game.
Yeah, I'm a real fire breather when it comes to technicals.
But does that mean maybe that, especially early in the year, the teams with depth or people that can play long minutes deep in the benches might win games just because of that?
I think it's certainly going to help. Last year, I don't know what we would have done if we had put the rule in. When you have a short bench, and if you don't have the depth, I think you got to just play a lot of zone. You have to really sit back. It's hard to really pressure if you don't have any depth because of fouls that are going to be called. When the fouls aren't called, maybe they're not called because you're so tentative. You get out of the way when someone drives. So it's going to have its effect one way or another. So again, that's why we're trying in practice to simulate that as much as we can with the officiating, so that we can become somewhat accustomed to defending that way without being able to use our hands.
This is kind of an early judgment thing.
Excuse me, there's a flip side to that too, though. Like a friend of mine told me, it's not football. You don't play offense and leave the field.
That's right.
Basketball, that means we get to drive too, and we have to be aggressive when we're attacking, because the same rule applies to them on defense. Go ahead.
Do you recall, you've been there a few years now, do you recall a season when you went into the season where there was a change kind of this significant or maybe dramatic that you're anticipating? Do you recall in your...
I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe since the insertion of the three-point line or the shot clock. Maybe the shot clock. Three-point line and the shot clock certainly changed the game. A line of the dunk, that added excitement to the game, but I don't know if it changed how you play as much. But you have a shot clock, that changes a lot of coaches' philosophies. When you put the three-point line in, I mean, that game is completely changed. We'll see how much it makes, much of a change takes place as a result of this. We'll see. I know they've done it in the NBA. NBA, you're not allowed to hand check anymore.
Coach, are you any closer to naming starters or additional starters to the team?
Yes, but I'm just not going to name them publicly. I have a pretty good idea. I'm just not going to name them publicly.
One more for Coach, guys.
Hey, for a team that likes to emphasize taking charges, how is that going to change for you guys?
I don't know. Any of you understand the rule?
No.
Because if you do, you're ahead of everything.
It's on the way up now.
So before, if I go up, and once I leave, when I'm here, you're good. If you establish position, once I leave my feet, if you move, now that's a charge. That's a block, I'm sorry, that's a block. Now, when I'm coming in, once I go here, upward motion with the ball, now that's a block. And I haven't even jumped yet. So my question is, a guy like Kevin Durant, who's 7'9", and 7-footer legs, and he goes, 1, and he starts from half court. 1, 2, how do you guard that? Do you move out of the way? If it were a no call, so you're here, and the guy takes off, upward motion, and now he runs you over, and it's a no call, that helps a little more. But we got to figure that one out. That's going to be a tough one. And the officials admit in the beginning of the year, block charges will probably go 70, 80
For the offensive guy?
percent of the time when it's a block.
Yeah.
As opposed to charge. So we have to figure that one out.